Today we're playing a classic. We're using Show and Tell and Sneak Attack to put large monsters onto the battlefield like Emrakul the Aeons Torrent and Atraxa Grand Unifier. Let's go check it out. In front of you is Legacy Sneak and Show, and it's not my deck list, it's JPA93's deck list, and they're the Sneak and Show legend. As long as I've been playing on Magic Online, they've been doing the same thing with Sneak and Show. So today, I'm running their exact 75 and seeing if I can replicate some of their success. So the idea here is that you want to use the namesake, Show and Tell or Sneak Attack, to put Atraxa Grand Unifier and or Emrakul the Aeons Torn onto the battlefield. That's the idea. And along the way, you'll probably find something like Force of Will to protect your combo, or even a card that we play in Legacy, the Epic Storm, Veil of Summer. So this is a Temur build today, playing the Veil of Summer for green, and you also gain access to Besieger Indoors, and then a card in the sideboard to shore up some of the problematic matchups, like Izzet Delver and Dimir Tempo and Carpet of Flowers. So the green splash I think is pretty good here, and I'm happy to see that JPA is playing it. Another really sweet card that we're playing today is Mistrise Village. I did test this card in the Epic Storm in the last 6 months or so, and I liked it a lot, but sometimes it felt a little mana intensive. Well, here in Sneak and Show, you have cards like City of Traders or Ancient Tomb to help make up for some of that mana cost of the activated ability. But as I mentioned, you also have Carpet of Flowers versus those blue matchups. So you're really looking to leverage Mistrise Village to make your things uncounterable. For consistency, we have the classics like Brainstorm, Ponder, but we also have Stock Up, a relatively new edition. It was printed in the beginning of 2025, so roughly 1 year ago. And I think that this deck is really well positioned. I've seen it climb up the metagame on MTG Goldfish over the last few weeks, and I thought, hey, if this deck is doing well, why don't we play it? So that's what we're doing today. Thank you to JPA93 for the deck list. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff, and I'll see everyone in match number 1. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1 with Legacy Sneak and Show. We're on the draw, and I've opened up a hand that has Show and Tell, Omniscience, and the large creatures. That said, this hand is lacking protection and mana, so I think you're supposed to mulligan this one. Better. Much better. We'll keep this and get rid of a Lotus Petal. This is a turn 2 Omniscience and a Stock Up. We'll play the Misty Rainforest and Lotus Petal. I don't know what the Bloodstained Mire means here. It could be a combo deck, I'm not sure. It could also be just Dimir Tempo. They fetch for an Undercity Sewers, okay. Gets rid of a Lightning Bolt. So it's a fair strategy. So I'm looking to draw Force of Will then. This might be like Grixis control. Sneak Attack. Let's play Volcanic Island. And I think I'd like to stock up. We'll grab Tropical Island and play the Stock Up. The resolves will take Force of Will and Scalding Tarn. Pass the turn. They flash in Orcish Bowmasters. I don't really care about that one. They fetch with Bloodstained Mire, Narset Parter of Veils. I don't actually care about that. We just let that go. Like, it'd be unfortunate if I found a Force of Will, but like, this doesn't impact my ability to win. And they missed on the Narset. Okay, let's see what we can make happen on our turn. Ideally, I would draw a blue card, because then I could Force of Will, put in Omniscience, and then the Emrakul. I did not draw the blue card. Okay, let's try Show and Tell. They have 4 cards in their hand. They Force Will, exiling Brainstorm. They'll Force Will back, exile the Omniscience. So I think I am more likely to lose to a Thoughtseize here than I am anything else. So I'm going to put the Emrakul into play. I thought about putting in the Sneak Attack. The downside is if then they Narset into a Thoughtseize and I'm stuck with a Sneak Attack in play with no targets. So I think they're less likely to have a removal spell here. And they did find Thoughtseize off the Narset. They're less likely to have the removal spell. That's at least what I'm banking on. They play Ponder. So they can attack for 4 with the Bargwife this turn and gain 4. I would go to 10. They play the Thoughtseize. I don't care. That's fine. And they just conceded to the Emrakul. I don't think that they were actually dead. They could have attacked with the Bargwife because I can't block it. But I'll take a free win. We'll bring in Carpet of Flowers, the Mistrise Village. We want the Pyroblast, the Red Elemental Blast. So I did send JPA a message before this league. And JPA mentioned that versus Tempo, you could consider boarding out Force of Wills. Versus a slow control deck, I kind of like the idea of boarding out Lotus Petal. And then we'll board out like 2 copies of Force of Will. Yeah, I would like to try this. Sure. We need to hit some mana, but I think ultimately it's fine. They lead off on the Bloodstained Mire once again. A second sneak attack. We'll play Ponder. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to keep this. I would love to keep a Carpet of Flowers, but I can't. Now we have to pass. They search out Badlands. Interesting. Maybe they're expecting the Carpet. They cling to Dust on Ponder. They play the Volcanic Island. So now they have Orcish Bowmaster mana open. I'll play Tropical Island and just pass. Because if they want to flash in a Bowmasters, I can Brainstorm in response. Maybe even burn both of them. And now they Brainstorm. While they're tapped low and can't Bowmaster me, I'm going to Brainstorm. We'll hide the Atraxa on top. We don't need to hide a second sneak attack. They play a second Cling to Dust. Sure. Well, sorry, Underground Sea. I almost said Volcanic Island. Not what I meant to say. We'll play another Ponder. We find Mistrise Village and a Pyroblast. I think I'll keep this. It's really close, but the Mistrise Village is just so valuable here. And now we'll pass the turn. Really need to find more mana. They have Snapcaster Mage or a Brainstorm, and now they play it. End step will Brainstorm. Once again, I'm trying to just avoid Orcish Bowmasters here. We find the land. That's great. I'll hide the Atraxa. Really glad I found a fetch land there. They play Scalding Tarn, 6 cards in their hand. Now they get in. I'll go to 18. Is it Kaito? It is. Okay. And now they're surveilling. Okay. I might want to consider Pyroblasting this Kaito. We'll fetch with the Misty. Grab another Volcanic. I would like to Brainstorm here, and then I can do uncounterable Pyroblast on the Kaito. That was actually insanely good. Alright, we're going to hide the Atraxa on top again. Our next spell is uncounterable, and we will Pyroblast on the Kaito. Pass the turn. They play a Ponder and Thoughtseize. They can see that I only have the sneak attack in hand, which will probably be what they take here. No, they went after a stock up. Do you have a Surgical? Is that why? They play another land. Now they're fetching for a mountain. They're really avoiding Carpet of Flowers, it seems. For a Badlands. Alright, it looks like they're going to Snapcaster again on the Thoughtseize. Okay. So they'll probably take the other stock up if that's the case. And they did. They have 5 cards in their hand. We'll play the City of Traders. I could just try to slam the sneak attack with Veil Backup here. And if they force, I do have a Veil of Summer. They let it resolve. We'll activate the sneak attack. Attracts the Grand Unifier. Trigger. So we know that there's a sneak attack on top of the deck. We're definitely taking the Atraxa. Red Elemental Blast. Show and Tell. Omniscience. And Basic Mountain. Now we'll go to combat. And we'll attack for 7. So we'll gain 7 life up to 23, and now they're at 6. Pass the turn. The Atraxa will be sacrificed. They know that I have Veil of Summer in hand. They play Undercity Sewers, put Murktide Regent to the graveyard, Orcish Bowmasters, you got it. They attack, Hydroblast. Let's attempt Veil of Summer. Their Hydroblast will fizzle now. They have 3 cards in hand. We'll activate the sneak attack. Let's put in Atraxa first. Trigger. We'll take another Atraxa Grand Unifier, Carpet of Flowers, Show and Tell, Tropical Island. Activate the sneak attack again. Put in Emrakul the Aeons Torn, Player Mountain, and they just concede the match. Alright, well, that was pretty sweet. We won match number 1. Hopefully we win the next 4. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Match number 2 on the play. Yeah, this seems delightful. Keep. We need to ponder into a large thing on turn 1, and then turn 2 we have show and tell with forcible backup. Play the ponder. That is a large thing. Alright, I'll hide the Atraxa on top of the deck. Pass the turn. They play an island, Lotus Petal, Cameo Inquisitive Student. Sure. We'll play Ancient Tomb and show and tell. They forcible exiling Tameo. We will forcible back, exile the Brainstorm. Show and tell. I will put a Atraxa Grand Unifier onto the table. They put in a Flooded Strand. Trigger. Take Force of Will, Ponder, Sneak Attack, and then our last one. I guess we get the Atraxa as well. Maybe the Mountain? Maybe it should be Scalding Tarn. Yeah, it should be Scalding Tarn. Pass. They search out a Hedge Maze. Are they on Omnitel? I mean, this could be Omnitel, and they just opened up on like a Tameo draw. Like the Lotus Petal and the Hedge Maze would tell me Omnitel, and I have seen builds that feature Tameo in them. We'll block the Tameo. Now they play a Ponder, and now a Brainstorm. Misty Rainforest, they have 2 cards, they're fetching. I think that this is Omnitel. Now another Ponder. They did not shuffle on the Ponder that time. They have 2 cards in their hand. We find Stock Up. I think we're supposed to play the Stock Up here. Help dig for another piece of interaction. They concede. Beautiful. Alright, I'm going to play as if I think they're Omnitel because that's what I actually assume what they're on. So we want the Besage Who Endures. We want Mistrise Village. We want Pyroblast. What I think we don't want is actual show and tell because you don't want to put their Omniscience onto the battlefield. And we don't want our own Omniscience because I think we're just trying to be a sneak attack gamer. And then we have 2 open slots. I think Carpet of Flowers could actually be pretty good, allowing you to potentially hardcast your own Atraxa Grand Unifier. And I think I'm going to board out a City of Traders because I brought in 2 lands and I would like the 3rd Carpet of Flowers. There's some argument to keeping in the Carpet of Flowers as well. I'm sorry, keeping in Omniscience when you're boarding in Carpet of Flowers because you could end up in a game where you can actually hardcast the Omniscience instead of just relying solely on sneak attack. I think I'm going to just try this, though. Game number 2, our opponent has kept 7. I think this hand is a little bit of a trap. Like, it's basically a mulligan to 5. We don't want 2 large things. I'm going to send it back. Much better. We'll keep. Get rid of... This is a tough one. The Misty. They play Tropical Island and Ponder. They did not shuffle, and they play out a Lotus Petal. We'll play the Tropical Island and Carpet of Flowers. Pass the turn. No. I need the Brainstorm as my blue card. Ancient Tomb. They play a Stock Up. I'll let that go. They have 6 cards in their hand. We drew another Brainstorm. I'm going to make a blue here and play a Brainstorm, hoping to find a red source for this Pyroblast. We did not. Oh no, we did. We found a Scalding Tarn. We'll get rid of Emrakul and Mistrise Village for now. Play the Scalding Tarn, and we'll pass. They play a Brainstorm, and now Besage Who Endures, show and tell. I could try to force this, and then when they force back, so they probably have a Veil of Summer. They're going to put an Omniscience. I could try to Pyroblast the Omniscience and hope that's good enough. Or grab the Volcanic. Should I just let this go? I'm going to force it. I would like them to burn the Veil of Summer. They do Veil. Alright, so show and tell will resolve. We'll put in Atraxa, which gives me priority, by the way, because I have a trigger on the stack. So with this trigger on the stack, we can now try to kill the Omniscience, unless they try to respond to this. Alright, so now with that on the stack, we're going to kill the Omniscience. And if they counter it, I have Veil of Summer. I feel like I played this one relatively well. Boom. And now they have a Cunning Wish that they can resolve, and then I have an Atraxa trigger. and then they concede. So you might be wondering why I force-willed the show and tell. So in my mind, I wanted the Veil of Summer to happen pre-Force of Will, which might be wrong, but I just want to talk through this. So I was thinking that if they were going to Veil, I needed my Veil to beat their counter magic. So by allowing the show and tell, by forcing the show and tell and then them veiling, when the show and tell resolves, I get the trigger from Atraxa. If they have an Atraxa or an Emrakul, I have priority. And now I can Pyroblast the Omniscience. Then if they force that, my Veil beats theirs. So if I Veil first, and then something weird happens, where they don't burn their force, like it could end up being odd. Maybe I'm just thinking too deep into the tank here, but that was my thought process. Let me know if it's completely flawed, but that's what I was thinking. I didn't want to risk the Pyroblast being countered by force. And I felt like I sequenced it well enough where it ended up working. So we're 2-0. Let's try to go get match number 3. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3, we're on the draw, and we've opened up a really clunky hand. So we have Force Will plus blue card, we have Show and Tell, we have a Veil of Summer and the land to cast it. But the sneak attacks, if it was like a land and a creature, this would be perfect. Instead, we have a hand where if we get Wastelanded, we do nothing, and on top of that, we need multiple things. So I think you're supposed to send this one back. Okay. I think you keep both creatures, and then you bottom one of the lands. That would be my guess here. We'll keep bottom Tropical Island. Our opponent plays Underground Sea into Ponder. They did not shuffle with the Ponder. We draw another Ponder. We'll cast ours. Don't need 3 mana sources. We'll shuffle. Another Ancient Tomb. Things not looking so great so far. They play a second copy of Underground Sea. I think we're going to end up playing an Orcish Bowmasters here. We'll play Ponder. They're thinking about it. And they do, in fact, flash in Orcish Bowmasters. I can't keep this. We have to shuffle. I'd love a Brainstorm, but not with the Bowmasters in play. Another mana source. Jeez. So something I don't believe I've mentioned so far is that JPA 93's list does not play Surveil lands, which I thought it was a little weird. So when I was looking at the deck list and trying to recreate it in Magic Online so I could play it for you today, I kept on coming to 61 cards, and I was like, what here isn't in the list? And it took me a while to realize that it was the Thundering Falls. There are 0 Surveil lands. This is a spot where I would definitely like one, but things have also not gone our way so far. They play another Ponder. They did not shuffle on the Ponder, and you can see how bad my hand is now. They took the Atraxa Grand Unifier, and now they attack for 3. Ouch. Alright, I'm at 15. We drew another Emrakul. We'll play Ancient Tomb, play out the Lotus Petal, I suppose, and then we'll pass. They play Polluted Delta. They have 3 cards in their hand. Ouch. I'm at 12. We drew another Lotus Petal. I will pass the turn. They fetch with Bloodstained Mire in their upkeep. Interesting how they did not grab a Surveil land on the end step. They either have it in their hand or they're not playing them. So now they'll attack for 3 and I go to 12. I'm sorry, I was at 12. I take 3 down to 9. Force of Will doesn't really help me here. Play the Lotus Petal. And I think I just have to pass. If I draw a Show and Tell, in theory, I'm just talking out loud here, I could play the Show and Tell and then hardcast Force of Will back up. But I think I end up at 1 life and then I die to the Orcish Bowmaster actually dealing me 1 point of damage. So I'm at 6. I'd have to deal myself 5 in order to take that line. Oh, these draws have just been terrible. We will pass. Alright, so I go to 3. Stock up. Little late. Let's play stock up. They Brainstorm in response. And a Force of Will. We can go to game number 2. That game was incredibly disappointing. Okay. We'll bring in the Carpet of Flowers. Mistrise Village. Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blast. JPA recommended boarding out Force of Will, so we'll do that. It still has me at 62. With boarding and carpets, I think we could probably, and I could be wrong here, but you could probably board down on Lotus Petals, or you board down on City of Traders. I think I'd rather board down on City of Traders and like a Lotus Petal here. Let's try this. I don't know if this is the correct board plan. I do not have JPA sideboard guide. There is a sideboard guide over at their Patreon. You can go subscribe for some amount of money. I don't know what it is, but they just gave me the quick note of board out force versus tempo. So I'm guessing the other cards right now, and it might not be City of Traders. It might just be 3 copies of Lotus Petal. But I like the fact that Lotus Petal is an initial green source for Carpet of Flowers or red mana for Pyroblast versus a Wasteland Daze strategy. City of Traders can be awkward because the longer the game goes, the worse that card ends up being. So I'm going to try this. And I realize that Boseiju Endorse isn't as powerful as City of Traders for those really fast combos. That said, it's a permanent mana source. It does make green for your Carpet of Flowers. It's a backdoor answer to something that might be problematic. I think it's fine. On the play for game 2. Sure, we'll play Island and pass. They fetch with Scalding Tarn, and they have Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Okay, little annoying here. I have to imagine they take the show and tell, but we'll see. And they do. I'm pretty far away from Sneak Attack plus Mistrise Village. We drew another Atraxa Grand Unifier. We will pass. They play Misty Rainforest. Carpet of Flowers. I mean, it's a good one, but I don't have green mana right now, so hopefully we draw a green mana source soon. They search out Undercity Sewers. Prevails away Force of Will. Okay. Interesting. I think that means that they don't have a Wasteland. They just pass the turn. Ancient Tomb. So I'm now 1 mana short of making Sneak Attack uncounterable. And they're passing the turn with 8 cards, so they're going to go to clean up. So there is some risk to just slamming the Sneak Attack, because if you just slam Sneak Attack and tap out, it could get hit by Hydroblast. So part of me wonders, if we draw a fetch land, do you play Carpet of Flowers first, and then the turn after Carpet of Flowers makes enough mana for you to play the Sneak Attack, and then activate it all at once? Because you don't want this card to be destroyed by the Hydroblast. This card's a Daze and a Borrowglyph, another Mistrise Village. We can play another Mistrise Village. So I could play the Sneak Attack now. It's just, if they have Hydroblast, I'm going to look like an idiot. I'm going to wait. We're not under any pressure at the moment. Our opponent's discarding the hand size. There's a Bowmasters, sure. They attack for 2. Ouch. I'm at 17. Another Emrakul. Our draws have really not been that great. I will pass. They play Basic Swamp. The attack brings me down to 15. So I suppose I can play 1 Sneak Attack now, and if it gets Hydroblasted, it's not the end of the world. We'll pass. And it looks like they do have one here. And they do. Okay. So this attack will bring me to 11. I'm starting to feel the pressure of the Bowmasters. Okay, we'll try it again. Now I'll go to 9. We'll play another Sneak Attack. Pass. No end-step Hydroblast that time. They swing. Ouch. I'm at 7. This card's a Murktide Regent. We will activate the Sneak Attack. I'll put in a Atraxa Grand Unifier. So they could have a Consign to Memory here, but I still get to attack with 7 lifelink. And my fear would be, if I activate the Sneak Attack and put in Emrakul and then they just Edict me, I'd rather try to get the trigger off this Atraxa. And they let it go. Okay, we'll take Volcanic Island, Veil of Summer, and the creature just doesn't matter here. We'll tap for a red, activate the Sneak Attack again, put in the Emrakul, the Aeons Torn, go to combat, and they concede. Alright, so we got game number 2. The No Force of Wills plan worked when we drew Mistrise Village, but that game was not easy. We'll try it again. Okay, game 3 on the draw. This seems like a keep to me. They have Underground Sea and Tamiyo Inquisitive Student. We draw Atraxa. I'm going to wait on the Carpet of Flowers. I don't want it to get hit by Daze, so I'm going to wait until turn 2 so I can pair it with Ancient Tomb. They attack with the Tamiyo. Basic Swamp. Okay. Brainstorm. We'll fetch, grab Tropical Island, and play the Carpet. I wonder if I'm supposed to brainstorm into a potential Bowmasters here, because I'd like to use this Carpet of Flowers mana next turn. 2 mana for a Petty Theft. Okay. That's annoying if I get hit by Wasteland now. They attack with the Tamiyo. They have 2 clue tokens. And Thoughtseize. Okay. I wonder if they take the Carpet, or if they go after one of the consistency cards. Right now, Carpet of Flowers is only 1 mana, and they do go after the Carpet. They play Verdant Catacombs. 3 cards remain. Another Atrox, so you gotta be kidding me. Sometimes this deck is so clunky. I think we have to play into Bowmasters. I'll play Brainstorm. And they could not have fetched faster. Alright, there's the Underground Sea. And there's Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, so I'm going to take some damage here. Wow, that was terrible! Wow. Unbelievable. That was truly awful. I think I might just be dead. And there's the Wasteland. That's game. I chose to play around Days on the stock up and I was just max punished. Like, I don't think I made a play mistake. It's just the deck. It was not cooperating. And I can't beat this because my top 2 cards are dead and they have 5 power on board. Truly disappointing. I don't feel like I really did much wrong there, but let me know if I'm wrong. We are now 2-1. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Match number 4 on the play. Something I was thinking about in between this round and the previous one was, I drew that Omniscience. There's a world out there in which maybe you keep in Lotus Petal and a City of Traders and you board out the Omniscience, but then your blue count is very low because the way that I sideboarded, like, boarding out, I guess your blue count doesn't matter if there's no forces in the deck, so maybe you are supposed to get rid of the Omniscience and keep in City of Traders and a Lotus Petal. If I face if I face a tempo deck again, maybe I'll try that. We'll keep this. I don't know what our opponent's playing, but they did reveal a Yorion Sky Nomad. We'll play a Scalding Tarn. We'll fetch for the basic island. Ponder. I like all of this. Stock up on the bottom. We'll draw the Omniscience. Pass the turn. So if they're Death and Taxes, having the Omniscience here is huge, because the Emrakul has a cast trigger. Marsh Flats. For a Tundra. Aether Vial. Okay, so there may be like an Esper Vial deck. I'm going to wait for the Veil of Summer backup. So I will pass the turn here. They play Flooded Strand. And now we'll slam the Show and Tell. They force will, exiling Quantum Riddler. I will Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer resolves, and now Show and Tell. We'll put in Omniscience. They put in Orcish Bowmasters. We'll cast Emrakul the Aeons Torn. And they concede. Nice. So we're not facing a tempo deck, but we are facing a deck that is likely playing Karakas. So I think I want the Omniscience. I don't want to board those out. And I do think I want to Braid and Brotherhood's End, because they're likely a Containment Priest deck. Maybe the Carpet of Flowers. I don't know how to feel about that one. Alright, so we're at 69 cards. We have to make some cuts. Maybe once again this can be a matchup where Force of Will leaves the deck. That brings us to 65. Probably shave like the City of Traders again. 63. Get rid of 1 Atraxa and like 2 Lotus Petals. We'll try this. So like I do think like boarding out 2 lands for 2 lands is fine. So having Mistrise Village and Beseiju who endure swap with City of Traders is acceptable. I'm sure there's somebody watching this that's like getting very upset that I keep on boarding out City of Traders, but I think it's fine. That's my own opinion. This seems like a reasonable hand. We'll keep. Basic Swamp. Aether Vial. Sure. Omniscience. They are a Wasteland strategy, so I'm a little hesitant to grab the Volcanic Island here. So I think I'm going to grab the basic, and we want to find, and we did. That was a near perfect ponder. Okay. We will pass. They play Meticulous Archive. Prevails away Tundra. They have 5 cards in their hand. We'll play the Volcanic. Pass the turn. I think the Ancient Tomb is worth more than the Volcanic. Maybe I'm wrong, but I really value the 2 mana, so I'm willing to get the Volcanic Island Wastelanded before the Tomb. They play a Marsh Flats. They activate Aether Vial for 2. For a Lavinia. Lavinia is fine with me. I don't even have Force of Will in my deck. What is that thing going to do? I can play 3 lands. I can play 3 lands with the best of them. Show and Tell. We'll put in Omniscience. Orcish Bowmasters. Let's try an Emrakul of the Aeons Torn. Oh no, it's going to be countered by Lavinia. That's so crazy. Except the spell cannot be countered. That was sweet. Alright, so we're now 3-1 with 1 match left to go. The Gold Sabertooth times the Epic Storm collection has arrived with 3 full-size tokens showcasing the beloved Dark Ritual, CDH Rogsai, and Legacy of the Epic Storm for just $5. On the backs of these tokens, there's a place for my signature or a custom message. In addition to these sweet tokens, a friendly reminder that all orders that ship from theepicstorm.com also come with a signed Storm token from yours truly. The final round of this Legacy League, we are on the play with Sneak and Show. We'll try it. I mean, Stock Up is a very powerful card. I'm just a little bit nervous that we get comboed out, or we're facing a tempo deck, they daze the first Stock Up, and then we don't hit the 3rd mana, but we'll find out. Our opponent with a mulligan to 5 will play Scalding Tarn and Lotus Petal, pass the turn, basic Plains, we'll grab the basic island, and then I'm going to Brainstorm here. I don't know what they're playing, but there's always the potential that we go off. And we're not going to, but we did find a 3rd land. I'll put back a Brainstorm. Actually, no. Let's put back a Stock Up. We'll get rid of 1 Stock Up here. If I need to play 3 Stock Ups in a game, I think something's gone wrong. And now we'll play Stock Up. We'll take Force of Will and the Atraxa Grand Unifier. Pass the turn. They play a 2nd Plains. Lotus Petal. Are you initiative? What's going on here? I don't think I care about Clarion Conqueror. Sure. I don't think that card is relevant. Ooh, we drew Omniscience. Let's party. Show and Tell. We'll select Omniscience. They put in another Clarion Conqueror. We'll play Atraxa Grand Unifier. Trigger the Atraxa. We'll take another Atraxa. Sneak Attack. Ponder. They must have conceded. It's lagging. They did. Nice. Double Clarion Conqueror, huh? So hateful. We'll bring in a Braid, Brotherhood's End. The Beseiju Who Endures. That's 63 cards. We probably don't need Veil of Summers. First time this league I can say that. I like the clean sideboard mapping there. Clearly thought out. So you could tell JPA put a lot of thought into this sideboard. Like, it didn't seem like we were overboarding at all. I guess you probably don't need the Mistrise Village. That said, it is still a mana source. So, like, the floor of this card is Island. Well, mostly Island. Assuming that you have a mountain or a forest. This one's risky. I think I'm going to be a crazy person and keep it, though. They play Cavern of Souls. They name Human. Guide of Souls. Okay. Turn 1 Atraxa? I think I'm down with that. We'll play Lotus Petal. Let's Show and Tell. Select Atraxa Grand Unifier. They have Sheltered by Ghosts. No! I do have a Beseiju, though. So I'll still get the trigger. And then next turn I could theoretically get my Atraxa back and re-trigger. We'll take the Lotus Petal, Emrakul of the Aeons Torn, Brainstorm, and Stock Up. Wait, I get a land. Scalding Tarn. We'll play the Lotus Petal, and we'll pass. Discard Ponder. They swing. Ouch. They're at 22. They play another Guide of Souls. You got it. Wasteland. Okay. We'll play the Scalding Tarn and pass. So I can allow them to attack, destroy the Sheltered by Ghosts with my Beseiju Who Endures, and then block their creature. They play basic Plains. Valia, Guardian of Thraben. Sure. And now they can make one of their Guide of Souls larger. I will fetch. Grab Volcanic Island. I can use the Lotus Petal for green here. And we're going to destroy the Sheltered by Ghosts. Hello, Atraxa. Welcome back. Now the Atraxa triggers. Savannah. We'll take Show and Tell, a Braid, Tropical Island, and Sneak Attack. Opponent just immediately conceded the match. Nice. Alright, so we went 4-1. Not bad. The one match we lost, maybe I misboarded. Maybe you're supposed to take out the Omniscience because blue count no longer matters without Force of Will. And then you could have the Lotus Petal and one City of Traders in the deck, and you wouldn't have gotten stuck like I did. So that might be user error, but the deck felt very good. Thank you to JPA93 for the deck list. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of this classic Legacy combo deck and the current Legacy metagame. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, keep storming. If you enjoyed today's video, you might also like the Eternal Glory podcast featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Bosch and Roll, Brian Cobal, Anthraven U, Phil Gallagher, as we discuss legacy concepts, theories, strategies, and so much more. We're available on all major podcast platforms, as well as YouTube. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.